Welcome back to another episode of Black Law and Legal Lies, where we specialize in the legal lies. I am one of your hosts, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dan. I am probably the smartest host on this hosting panel today. So just so everyone knows, if you have any legal questions, reach out to me. I help get you out of a jam. If you're in a jam, I'm your man, Dan. What? You can find me on Twitter, ladies and gentlemen, at I am Dan on Drugs, as well as Instagram. Follow the show across all social media platforms at Black Law Podcast.
Hi, I'm just Dan.
She the dumb one.
No, I'm actually the person who has since not mentally incapacitated. Thank you very much. And you can follow me on Twitter at I Tell Legal Lies. And of course, as Dan said, the show across all social media platforms.
See, I don't even know what word that was. Across.
Because I wanted to say everywhere and then across at the same time. I don't know.
Where the L come from? There's still no L.
Who knows?
See?
Anyway, so Black Law Podcast. Yeah.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, today's episode has been brought to you by whatever the fuck this is. Suja, organic cold pressed uber greens juice. This is the nastiest shit that I have ever drunk in my life.
Oh wait, and that's why you offered me one.
This shit tastes like
shit?
No, it tastes like
horse shit?
What I imagine walrus piss to taste like. This is nasty.
Why walrus piss and just
that's just
general?
How pungent it is. It has ladies and gentlemen, Suja organic, whatever the fuck, cold pressed juice. Man, they got this shit at Costco. Man, this is the nasty shit. Got celery. Okay, this is what's in it. Cucumber juice, celery juice, grapefruit juice, green chard juice, green leaf lettuce juice, lemon juice, kale juice, spinach juice.
That doesn't sound bad.
Parsley juice and mint tea.
No, you had me at grapefruit juice. Did you shake it up before you drank it?
Man, this is one in the refrigerator. And again, ladies and gentlemen, today's episode is sponsored. It's really not by this nasty ass shit right here.
Wait, hold on.
Man, it is the nastiest shit ever. Now, as my co-host goes to investigate how nasty this shit is, ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to live a cleaner life as far as what goes in and out of my body. So I said, well, let me check out some of these juices, right? They got this place, it's called Main Squeeze. Man, their juices is fire. It's lit, y'all. But this shit.
Okay, wait. So here's the thing, though.
Okay,
first
live taste test.
It starts out like this. So,
Yep, got to shake it up.
Yeah, but it look like have a little spirulina in there.
I don't know what that is, but there's like some charred. Man, I'm drinking it because I paid a lot of money for it.
No, we understand that you're hooked on phonics. You read this stuff.
Man, I'm drinking it because I paid a lot of money. You know.
Wait, what's a lot? Wait, because
for 21 of these.
Let me tell y'all. Dan is the most frugal person I have ever known in my life. So a lot of money to him is $5.
I know somebody more frugal. I know somebody more frugal.
Don't say.
So no, a lot of money is, if you go on their website, suja.com or sujajuice.com, to order it, it is like $100 or $109 for like 21 of them. Mm-hmm. That's fucking expensive.
How much did you pay for them?
I paid like.
How much did you pay for them?
I don't remember. I got them at Costco.
Because you said I paid a lot of money. How much did you pay? I don't remember.
They've been in there for like 3 weeks. So
that's probably why they taste like walrus piss.
Nah, they are still well within the expiration. But look, it's 45 calories. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to make a case why this is our sponsor, ladies and gentlemen. No, 45 calories, right? So it's all these different juices. Ask me the nutritional value. Nothing. There's
Right.
no nutritional value.
There's no fat, no sodium, no carb, no fiber. There are sugars, and there's 2 grams of protein. There's potassium,
6% of your daily,
vitamin C, and calcium.
2% of your daily.
That's because it's basically water.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
I mean, because think about it. It's cucumber, celery, grapefruit. That's probably where the sugar comes from. Chard, lettuce, lemon juice, kale, spinach. Dude, parsley, this is basically water.
Exactly. So, taste test.
I'm about to say, I ain't never scared. Really?
I'm scared for you. Like I said, I'm drinking it because it's expensive, but.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The smell will kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's not bad. If you're a cow,
man,
you know,
or walrus.
anything that eats a lot of green veggies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Walrus piss, just as I said.
Yeah.
Walrus piss. Now you owe me $11.
Wait, it's $11 a bottle, son. That's not what you pay.
Don't tell me what I paid.
That is not
So
what you pay.
what we tried to do is we ended up drinking half of one and then filling it up with apple juice. So half of that shit and half apple juice to kind of balance it. You cannot fix this shit to taste good. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, shout out to our sponsor, who is our unofficial sponsor, Suja, who makes this disgusting ass juice. That shit nasty.
You know what? Let me tell you. It's not nasty. It's like a salad in a bottle. It's basically what it is. With the dressing. Because, that's where the lemon juice and the grapefruit juice, it's like a vinaigrette. So it's like a salad in a bottle. It's not that bad. It's very cucumber forward.
Celery.
And you definitely taste the chard.
Man, that shit is disgusting.
It's not anything that I would drink again. It's very astringent on the tongue.
Mm-hmm. But if you have bowel disorders, that may help you.
You think?
I don't think so, because they ain't got no fiber in it.
Wait, yeah, they do.
Nah, because it's juice.
Oh no,
all the fiber is
said
left
0.
out.
Yeah.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, on to more serious and more pressing issues, right? So before we get into the main topic, what I wanted to bring up is the American dream, right? The American dream.
Okay, wait.
Now, why?
Out of left field.
No, it's not out of left field. It's left field to you, but to me, I've been sitting with this all day. They tell us, right? And it has a lot to do with the immigration and things like that, but they tell us the American dream is you work hard and you can achieve damn near everything you want. That's the American dream, right? You work hard, you can buy a house, you can buy a car, you can do this. The American dream is based on working hard, right?
Trying to figure out where this is coming from. Like all of a sudden, you have this diatribe about the American dream.
Yeah, it's because the American dream is bullshit.
Wait, I think we discussed this before. Did we not? When we did that whole reparations, when we talked about reparations, we've discussed the American dream and how it only holds true for certain races before. So, I mean, but what has put this American dream situation on your mind though? Does it have anything to do with our topic of discussion?
No. I was listening to somebody this morning. I don't remember. But they were talking about coming over here and trying to live the American dream and working hard because that's part of the American dream. And it's like, yo, I'm going to work hard. I'm going to buy a house. I'm going to buy this. I'm going to buy that. And by living in America, they were from a different country.
Mm-hmm.
They've always been told, same as I'm sure a lot of the immigrants that are south of the border are told is all you have to do is work hard and you'll make it.
Because America is the land of milk and honey. That because we have freedoms that most countries don't.
But I know a lot of hard-working people who died with nothing. They died broke. They died in mountains and mountains of debt. That debt got passed on to their families through like the estate shit or whatever. So motherfuckers was working like 60, 70 hours a week for 50 years, dies in like $400,000 worth of debt.
Who is this specifically? Because that's very specific.
That is very specific. They die with 400 between two mortgages because, American dream is, yo, all right, I'm going to buy my house and now I'm going to buy a rental property. Now I'm paying mortgages on both of them. Now I got all these outstanding credit card bills, automobiles. That was the dumbest shit, Destiny Child. Can you pay my automobiles? What the fuck is an automobile?
It's her car note.
Yeah, I know, but it's either your automobile bill.
No, see, it was a play on words. Automobile,
Yeah,
automobiles.
It's just dumb.
The play on words.
Can you pay my automobile? Like, it's like saying.
But you digress. You know what? You know what? You're like our president. You're just jumping all over the place.
The American dream is bullshit, basically.
I mean, but we've basically established that over the course of several episodes.
Yeah. I was just thinking about it today, though.
And you just wanted to throw out there America and beyond.
Well, no. Like what I was listening to too was talking about how the American dream to the kids has shifted because of things like Instagram, because of things like Twitter, Facebook.
So now everybody wants to be an Instagram influencer, a social media influencer.
Not well, in a sense, but they strive to live. They strive for the things that they see. So they see these photoshopped pictures of women, and so they're running out and getting all those plastic surgeries, things like that.
Just to let you know, that is nothing new, because even before the explosion of social media, things like Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and everything else, that was always media. That was always something that showed the world what the ideal body type was, what the ideal life looks like. I mean, that's what magazines did. So basically what Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and things, social media period.
Look at the people in the magazines, though. They were mostly celebrities and models.
Well, but here's the thing, though. The difference between now and then, you had to wait a specific period of time to see how the other half lived, to see how the beautiful people lived. And I say all that in quotations, beautiful people, other half. You had to wait until that magazine was printed or somebody took a picture of them, put it in the paper, and you got to look inside, however briefly, their lives. Now everything is instant. So
Instagram.
Right. Everything, we take a picture, we put it out there. We take a picture, we Photoshop it, and we put it out there. It's the same difference that's always been influenced.
It's way more prevalent now. Just
but
because
like
of how
I said,
accessible the media is.
Exactly. And that's why I'm saying everything is immediately accessible. And we are still flooded with a deluge of, this is how you're supposed to look if you want. It's speaking of that American success. This is what you need to do to be successful. This is how you have to look to be successful. This is what you need to wear to be successful. This is the type of job you need to have to be successful. That's all. I mean, social media does that.
So let me ask you this before we get into our main topic, right? Ideally, what would the American dream be?
See,
if you had to construct one.
Now, that's the thing. it should be different for everybody. You know, you don't want a cookie cutter life. I know I don't want a cookie cutter life.
I do. I'll take one any day. That means
No, you
no
don't.
decisions.
Now, see, and that's a cop out. I don't want a cookie cutter life. I don't want to look on Instagram and see somebody's Instagram post and go, "Oh yeah, I want that." I've never been that type of person.
But you have a cookie cutter life.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
I do not.
Let me tell you how.
No, wait. Let me finish.
Okay,
Let me finish my statement. So, I've never been a sheep. I've never been a follower. I've always forged my own path, even, you know, in the midst of whatever. That's something that my family and even people, friends and people at the job, it's like, if you say yes, I say no. Even though I know it's yes, I will still say no because I don't want to be a part of what everybody thinks is right or what everybody thinks is the thing to do or the place to be or what. And that's just
That sounds toxic.
that. It's not at all. Not at all. It's only toxic maybe to you, but
According to you, I'm just saying, hey, everybody, what do you think about this person? Do you think they should die? No. Yes. That's you.
and you know what? For sometimes it really is me. That's real.
See?
It really is. But that was, and back in the day, it was worse than that. I mean, but I am a product of my environment and my upbringing, and it was never a good thing. And maybe that's something else. I have to explore that and think about that further. It was never a good thing to just agree with anybody. You know,
So it's disagree with everybody.
you know, it's like it was, you know, Rage Against the Machine, Buck Authority. But like I said, I have to psychoanalyze myself further. But please,
Psh, I can psychoanalyze you easily.
So
but
please,
here's your cookie cutter, right?
Okay.
Okay. Go to school. You went to school, right?
Yeah, so did you.
Psh, but guess what? That's when I said, fuck that. I'm out. Get a degree. Did that too, right?
I did.
Okay. Buy a house. What? Oh, wait. Get a job. You got one of those?
Yeah.
Buy a house. You got one of those?
No.
Bullshit. Where you live?
In the house, okay.
Okay. Car. Buy a car. You got one of them? Do you got a fence?
Yeah.
Psh, that's the whole cookie cutter
Nah,
American
it's not
dream.
white.
Ain't
it's
got
not
to be
picket.
white. Ain't got to be white.
Okay, wait. So you drive a car?
I do.
How many?
One. You can only drive one car.
No. You drive more than one car. I didn't say at a time.
Well,
I said how many cars do you drive?
I'm being literal. I drive one.
No. How many cars do you own?
One.
Not.
I do.
No.
On paper and according to DMV,
No. Okay.
I own one.
No. How many? So we're talking about equitably. How many cars do you equitably own?
One.
No.
Psh.
No. Not at all.
According to the DMV.
No, you said, and I said, you said literally on paper, and I said equitably. That's different.
According to the DMV, it's not. According to the DMV,
No,
I own one car.
according to the law, it is different.
Okay. Anyway.
So you have more than one car at your disposal.
Yeah. I can always borrow a car.
No, not borrowing.
I can always borrow a car.
So wait, let's talk about how many cars are currently parked in your driveway or on the side of in front of your house,
Including yours?
including mine.
Including the motorcycle, 13.
No, I said in your driveway.
And in front of the house.
Right.
13.
No.
13.
No, immediately in front of your house there's one.
2.
One.
2.
One.
Immediately in front of the street. My neighbor's house is
One.
immediately in front of my house.
One. There's one.
So,
and then in your driveway, there are 3 cars, mine included. So.
And what that got to do with anything?
Basically, because we're talking about, you said cookie cutter, and you own a home. Well, you're on the way to owning a home because you pay a mortgage.
Not by choice.
But you do.
Not by choice.
Just because it's not by choice.
Wasn't part of my dream. Wasn't part of my American dream. My American dream, let me tell you, is to be in a fucking apartment somewhere. And that's no bullshit.
Okay, but we know that. I mean, you have expressed that more than once on the show.
For 3 years.
But you're talking about cookie cutter. So if we're talking about cookie cutter American dreams, you've achieved it.
No.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you how.
You
the path.
You have
to look at the path.
No, it's not about the path.
It is about the path.
No, it's not about the path. It's about the end. Because the American dream is to have job.
I haven't worked hard a day of my life.
No.
Mm-hmm.
The American dream supposedly is to eventually have a job, a car, and a house.
And a family.
And looks like you've achieved that.
No.
You have that.
No.
You have a family. You have cars with an S. Cars.
Well, let me tell you.
You have a home. And you have a job, and you have money in the bank.
So I'm broke.
Man, cut the shit.
Let me tell you, though. See, my path was, they said, go to school.
No.
I said, wait. Let me finish. They said, go to school. I said, for real? Make me. And they said, okay, we'll make you. 3 years later, I'm getting out of the detention facility. I got a GED. And let's see. So I didn't do the whole school part, right? Then they said, go to college, right? Guess what I did? Street pharmaceutical school.
Street corner pharmaceutical pharmacology school.
Uh-huh. Studied that for a little while. Didn't get a degree. Then they say, get a job. I had a bunch of those. Needed money. But the path is not the path of the American dream.
No. See, as I said, that's where you're wrong. That whole, work hard, get an education, then you'll be able to get X, Y, and Z. That's honestly been out of the picture for a very long time. Let's talk about Sam Walton. Sam Walton did not have a college degree.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Walton, I think, did not even have a high school diploma.
Mm-hmm.
But Sam Walton's family is one of the richest families in the world.
My mama know them.
So, does she?
She grew up with...
ask her if she can holler at her people and give me some breaks at the local Wally World.
Shit, not even the family does, because the family don't even own it no more.
Yeah, they do. Most of them are on the board. Like his son.
They might be on the board, but they don't own it.
They own the stock.
It was my mama either grew up with or worked with something.
My
mama knows one of the granddaughters. They're from Texas somewhere. And according to lore, legend has it.
Man, Sam Walton want to get with her and she ain't did it.
Nah, Sam been dead. Get with his granddaughter? That might be the lore out there. Is the family does not own Walmart and does not own Sam's Club.
They have stock in the company.
They may have stock.
They're majority stockholders. They should be.
Look it up.
We're gonna have to look it up. Yeah.
Anyway, on to the real shit, right?
No, because we never concluded this whole American dream.
Oh, my American dream.
No. What I said was because you tried to say that I was cookie cutter.
You are.
And I'm not. I'm not because
you ever been to jail?
You're still under this.
You ever been to jail as a prisoner?
You're still under the mistaken assumption that I grew up with a silver spoon. You have this very skewed vision.
I can tell you. I've never said once that you grew up with a silver spoon. It was gold. It was gold. I'm telling you. You have
this skewed vision of my life, but
no, I'm just saying you followed to say you're not a follower. You followed the
That wasn't. But see, that's why I keep saying the path to the American dream is the path that you want to take, because and I referenced Sam Walton because his path was not school, job, work hard. His path was work hard. I mean, so everybody's path is different.
Can be, yeah.
Eventually, what the American dream boils down to is that whole house, car, 2.5, spouse, 2.5 kids, white picket fence, living the life of Riley. That's what the American
Wait,
dream.
Riley Freeman?
Man, I wish I could live the life
Me too.
of Riley Freeman.
But you say that, right? And the American dream, essentially, right, is okay. Let's go with your premise that the experience should be different for each person. The American dream is whatever you dream it to be, right?
Right. That's what it should be.
Okay, here's the thing though. There's so many people that I know too that they have these aspirations, they have these goals, they want something so bad that it's like they engulf themselves in it and it's all they know. They still don't get it. Like think, in the hood, the NBA player, yeah, I'm going to end. And he could be like one of the damn best basketball players in the country.
But he never has the opportunity to show it.
Yeah.
Right.
So the American dream, whatever your American dream is, still might not be obtainable, even if it's, let's not say, I know someone that wanted to be a doctor, right? Graduated high school at 15, enrolled in college at 16, had their 4-year degree by 18, took the MCAT, passed, decided I want to have a baby. I think there was something with I want to feel loved and this and that because like that was like, fuck that whole doctor shit. I want to have a baby.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I want. And it's like, yo, you graduated high school at some Doogie Howser fucking age, got your 4-year degree at Xavier
By 18.
Mm-hmm. Took the MCAT, crushed it, and said, just threw it all away.
But
I want to have a baby.
Didn't throw it away. That was her dream.
And she is not a doctor.
Her dream. See, and that's the thing. Dreams are not static. People grow. What they want out of life sometimes grows with them. I mean, nothing in the rule book says that once you say you want to be X, you have to be X. You can say you want to be X until the point where you actually become X, do X, and then like, man, this is not for me. Because when I was in law school, it was the funniest thing to me because like all my life, that's what I wanted. I wanted to be a lawyer. That's the path that I set myself on from a very young age. So I get to law school and they're like 60-year-old grandmothers in law school with me. They're like 50-year-old engineers in law school with me. And I would ask them, okay, why go from being an engineer? Literally, I had
I bet you I could tell you why.
An associate in school with me, graduated with me, went on to actually go to DC and work for a firm of lobbyists, but literally was an engineer at Exxon, biochemical engineer at Exxon.
I bet you I can tell you why.
Making like mad money, stopped, had done that for like 15 years, stopped, decided she wanted to go to law school, enrolled, and went on.
Okay, we're going to toss midlife crisis aside, and I'm going to tell you, I bet a lot of people who want to become lawyers later in life, something happened to them to where or something happened to a loved one, happened to a friend, family member, to where it's like, yo, maybe they couldn't afford an attorney or maybe they wish they could have helped more. It's like, yo, I'm not going to be in that position again. I'm going to put myself in a position to where this won't happen again.
And that's actually it's funny that you said that. That's actually what started me on my journey. That is what made it click in my mind that I could actually do something to help. I had a cousin that went through a situation and at the time, nobody can afford to get him the representation that he actually needed. And it was like, he got railroaded, much like yourself and public defenders. Why you hate
Fuck them
why
motherfuckers.
you hate public defenders, they never want to go to trial. They never want to expend the energy. It's always get them to settle and okay,
Best deal.
let's see what deal we can get you, and this is the best deal that you can get. I suggest you take it type situation. So I saw that, and like I said, that set me on my journey. But to go back, engineer, the lady that I spoke about, that was a nurse. The 60-year-old grandmother, she was a nurse. She had been a nurse for 30 something years, like retired, and then one day up and decided, oh, okay, I'm going to law school. And I mean, and you heard stories and more like that. So the American dream could be anything you make it. And even after you commit, you still have time as long as you're alive to go for more dreams. That's just like I always say, when I'm done playing Perry Mason Etta, like I want to go back to school, be a pastry chef. And that is just so far away from the law till it's not even funny. But
should be illegal to eat some shit that you done baked.
Man, shut up. You're just a hater.
Man, so anyway, that was our off-topic OT 20-minute thing. Michael Drejka. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not familiar with Michael Drejka, he is the Clearwater, Florida man who shot Marquise McLaughlin, I think his name was.
Max somebody.
McLaughlin, I think. And he claimed...
Glockton.
There we go. Claimed self-defense. He claimed he wanted to be protected under Florida stand your ground law. We actually did a show about it. That was, over a year ago. And he didn't get arrested initially. The Clearwater Sheriff's Department agreed with him that he was protected by Florida's stand your ground law. State attorney said, nah, bro. So they played his interrogation. Now, he was recently found guilty by a jury. Took him 6 hours to deliberate of manslaughter. Now, what's funny is I actually have it right here. So check this out. His
his interview.
He says, as he was on the ground, I draw my weapon, and that's when he makes his next step towards me. The convenience store
Videotape
clearly shows him walking away after he
So
he shot a man that was no longer a threat. Was Marquise a threat? I believe I said this in the initial episode we did about it. To be honest, and it might be an unpopular opinion, yes, he was a threat. He assaulted the man, right? Now, in his defense, he was protecting his family, but assault is assault. Battery is battery. So he assaulted the man, battered the man, Michael Drejka, the shooter here. But once Michael Drejka was on the ground, Marquise walked away. He was no longer a threat once you start backing up. He was not coming forward, as Michael Drejka said in this interrogation. So I think that's a cut and dry, black and white, assault and battery on one part, murder on the other part. There's no self-defense anywhere in there.
So here's where law gets, especially the law in Florida, where it gets sticky and tricky. Because while, most stand your ground laws basically give you an out, in order to claim self-defense, most of the time, you have to retreat. Well, that whole stand your ground thing basically means that you don't have the obligation to retreat. That if you feel like you are in imminent threat of death or great bodily harm,
Mm-hmm.
then you can use deadly force. Now, the issue with Florida and all of these stand your ground laws is that inordinately, they tend, as we've seen, to happen in cases where there are white and black people involved. And they basically perpetuate the view that black men are dangerous. And that's basically what this man, that was literally his whole defense. I'm a white man on the ground and this is a black man
coming towards me.
And I was in imminent fear of great bodily harm or death because we all know black men are dangerous.
They're violent. Yeah.
So that's what he tried to project. That was basically his whole defense. Literally. This big black man was looming over me and I feared for my life, so I shot him once.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's not crazy about this case, but of course we know that his lawyers are not going to allow this verdict to stand, even though the jury found him guilty of manslaughter, not murder.
Mm-hmm. Now, what's the difference?
I was about to say, and here's the distinction. One is, it's what's called, we have something in the law called mens rea. And basically that means your mindset. So manslaughter happens in the heat of the moment when you don't deliberately set out to kill someone. Like your actions result in their death, but that was not your intent, right? It's all about intent. Murder, on the other hand, you intended to kill the person that you killed. So in this particular case, like I said, I'm still counting this as an L because he intended to kill this man.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't, let me shoot him in the kneecap, because you're on the ground, right? You're on the ground. It would have been easy to shoot him in the leg. You're trying to stop him?
Now, here we go. Mr. Firearms Specialist.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Firearms Specialist.
Mm-hmm.
I hear that a lot, and it bugs me when people say that.
Well, look, in this particular situation, because we talked about this when we talked about the gun control situation, how if you're hopped up on drugs, something
Not
to the
even
leg
that.
or the knee,
No,
not going to stop
Not
you.
even that.
But you don't think if you shoot somebody in the knee, that's not going to stop them?
Let me finish the thought first. All right. So, being the firearms specialist.
Damn, show me your certification. You ain't nobody's specialist.
Actually, I can show you my certification. I don't have it on me, but it's over there on the bookshelf. There's a few things going on. I hate when I see that too. I see a lot of comments, especially in police shootings. Even if the police shooting was a good shoot, it is, why didn't they just shoot him in the leg? One, no one is trained to shoot people in their appendages. That's just not when you go. We know,
because when you go to the gun range, it's not a picture of a knee or a leg or an arm. It's a picture of the torso and a head.
And with that being said, right? You want to shoot, if you're shooting someone, you want to shoot for the biggest area, because no matter how good of a shot you think you are, you aren't. And I can say that for most police officers. I've shot with some police officers at the what's it called?
Gun
Jefferson,
range?
yeah, Jefferson gun range. So it's scary actually how bad of a shot. Do you remember this was maybe about 4 or 5 months ago down on Canal Street in New Orleans, where the NOPD got in a shootout with someone?
Right. And all the bullets that was flying and nobody got
hit.
Right.
So there was there was in excess of like 36 shots fired by the New Orleans Police Department. No one got hit other than, I think, a bystander, an innocent bystander, like a bullet grazed them or something.
Mm-hmm.
So to think someone and you're going through it's a what do you call it, adrenaline rush, it's all kinds of shit going on, to think someone can shoot another moving person in their leg or in their arm or no, you aim for the biggest target you can find, which is we call it center mass,
Right.
and
Torso. Right.
2 shots. That's you put 2 shots there and see what happens.
Really? Just 2 shots and see
2
what
shots.
happens.
Yeah. Anything more than 2 shots is excessive, and then when you go to court, it's
Right,
going to look
right.
bad when you just dump a magazine in someone's
Well,
chest.
I'm just saying, you talked about adrenaline. If adrenaline is pumping through you and you're making split-second decisions, just keep your hand on the trigger. Keep shooting. Adrenaline.
I mean, the case could probably be made, but and another thing, I talked to someone that was in a shootout, right? This dude at the range, he was Vietnamese dude, right? And what surprised me is he was like tatted up, like head to toe tatted up, and I'm like, damn, this dude
Yakuza.
probably shouldn't have a gun. I don't know. But I was new to shooting at the time, and the dude actually came over to my lane and was like, look, this is what you're doing wrong. I was like 21 at the time. Like, this is what you're doing wrong. This is how you correct it and whatever. The dude actually taught me how to shoot. And then he was there with like this redneck dude. And just the dynamic of it, you got this tatted up Vietnamese dude. He was probably in his 30s. The 55-year-old redneck dude. And they're like, buddy. They were bonding over.
You like stereotype.
I do. I
everybody.
stereotype every motherfucker. But nah, I mean, the dude was like, yeah, bro, I got in a shootout. The dude, sure enough did. He sure enough did. I saw it. I seen it. But so I was standing straight on and shooting like you see, and you get the best, you got your best base if you're standing straight on like this, right? So dude was like, yeah, I guess technically that's how you're supposed to shoot. I've been in a shootout, and this is why I stand kind of almost like a boxer.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started thinking, and I'm like, damn, it is like boxing, because in boxing, you don't stand just square with somebody.
Right.
You angle because you want to slim down the target
as much as possible.
So the dude got in a shootout, and he lit the other guy up. He caught return fire, and he was showing me he got shot in his hand. Bullet went in between 2 of his knuckles and like came out the top of his hand. And he was like, had I not been standing, so anyway, say all that to say, you're shooting for the biggest target you can find. If I was shooting at you, I'd be shooting at your head.
Of course, yeah. I know you were going to say that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
because that's brain envy, everybody.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that he was on the ground. If the dude Marquise were approaching him, this is where my feelings get kind of tricky. I still don't think that Marquise should have been shot. Even if while the dude's on the ground, Marquise is approaching him. You just walked up to my vehicle, and I know in the state of Louisiana, my vehicle
is an extension of my home.
And I can protect it as such. So you done walked up to my vehicle, you're yelling at my child's mother with another child or two in the backseat?
They had 2 children in the car and his girlfriend, right?
So, even after he pushed him on the ground and he was still coming forward, I don't care. I'm still on Marquise's side, because if you had some kind of issue with this woman or with the way she was parked,
no, it
call
was
law enforcement.
It was the fact that she was parked in a handicap. But keep in mind that this was not on the street. This was a private parking lot. And also the owner of the grocery store or the convenience store, in his statement, said that this was not the first time that this man had done that.
Mm-hmm.
That he had told him to not harass his clientele, his customers.
There.
So see, and that's what I said. When I initially read the story, it's like, so this man was trespassing on private property and he committed a crime.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, I don't believe that justice was served because of the backstory. The thing is, I'm not really sure if the jury, I didn't look at the trial. I haven't read trial transcripts. So I don't know if the jury was actually made aware of his prior actions, which more than likely they did not, because that is not something that his defense would actually allow into evidence. His prior
Mm-hmm.
actions at that particular convenience store. Probably didn't get to see it, but we did. We did hear it. We did, see these things. So,
I would think the jury would have, because it took a year, almost a year and a half to even get to court.
right,
So
but that doesn't necessarily mean that the jury would actually have, and the reason why it takes so long is because they probably had motions on top of motions, evidentiary hearings to get rid of a whole lot of stuff that would be detrimental to his case.
hmm
Like, this dude, unlike in the Trayvon Martin trial, he never took the stand. And that's because something happened in Florida's law in about I think it was like 2017. When was Trayvon Martin?
that was like 14 maybe.
Okay, so it wasn't too long after that, Florida changed their laws as far as how you prove the whole stand your ground thing. Literally, the onus was on the defense. Most of the time you would put the perpetrator or the defendant on the stand, and they would tell you why they felt like their life was in imminent danger, X, Y, and Z.
hmm
But Florida changed their law to shift the burden of proof to the prosecution. So now, and I don't think he took the stand, if I'm recalling correctly. This man did not take the stand, didn't have to, because as I said, the burden of proof is now shifted to the prosecution to prove that what he did was illegal. But as I said, the defense is not going to take this sitting down. I count this as an L because it was a manslaughter verdict rather than murder. That's number one. Number two, this guy's been out in the street basically since he bonded out of jail,
hmm
right? But I think the judge actually remanded him after the guilty verdict. They remanded him to jail. But of course, they are going to appeal. And from what I read, they're going to appeal it on let me see. There's two grounds at least that the defense is going to raise on appeal. One had something to do with the video, the convenience store video, and how the defense actually played the video to the jury. So, from what I understand, they played the video in slow motion. And the defense is arguing that that video should have never been shown in slow motion because everything that happened was
In real
quick.
time.
Right. It was seconds, a matter of seconds. But
But isn't the purpose of video just for that reason? So you can watch it frame by frame as it happens?
well, that's, as I said, that is going to be one of the grounds of his appeal, that the jury should never have been allowed to view the video in slow motion. So, because what they're saying is everything happened quickly, and any thought that he had in his head and any action that he took had to be split seconds because it was a matter of life or death. So
hmm
it was either him or me. And so them showing the jury video in slow motion, that's the first grounds. And the second is going to be the fact that Pinellas County Sheriff was not able to testify. I think that's the other one.
Why wouldn't they be able to?
Well, see what I said about evidentiary hearings and all of these motions? I think that the prosecution motioned that the sheriff not be allowed to testify, and maybe from what I'm reading, the judge actually allowed. He sided with the prosecution, so the Pinellas County sheriff was not allowed to testify, and of course, we know that he declined to arrest him because. And what's crazy is the Pinellas County sheriff, my understanding, is a lawyer. And he declined to prosecute, or he declined to arrest him because he believed that it was a good shoot in accordance with the stand your ground law.
Now, let me ask you this. Regardless of the video, right? As I understand it, at least, and I could be off base here, is even if Marquise was backing away, right? Even if he had his hands up backing away, that really doesn't matter according to the law, because if you still feel that your life is in danger, it doesn't matter what the other person's doing.
Right, because you see, as I said earlier, the whole stand your ground thing is you don't have to retreat. You don't have a duty to retreat. But if you feel like you're in imminent danger of great bodily harm or death, then you have the right. And what's crazy about that is I don't know. I remember when we did the show on Trayvon Martin, as far as Florida stand your ground goes, you could actually be the first aggressor in that situation, if I'm recalling correct.
As long as you feel as though your life is in danger.
Because I think that's coming back to me. You could be the first aggressor and then retreat and then feel like your life is in danger because this other person did not retreat and shoot. Correct me if I'm wrong, y'all, but I think that is, if memory serves correctly, I think that is correct as far as Florida is concerned. But yeah, so as I said, I'm still counting this one as an L. It's a loss because he was not convicted for murder. It's also an L if on appeal the appellate court actually throws the verdict out, which they may, considering that most legal scholars, professors, and others were surprised by this verdict. Considering Florida's law, I was quite surprised myself, to the point that when the verdict came down, I immediately texted Dan and sent him the link because I saw, like, the verdict came in, I got the alert and it said guilty, and I was like, seriously?
So do you think that by not allowing the sheriffs to testify, because of course, they were going to say, good shoot, do you think that Michael Drejka was railroaded
No.
in an attempt to make some sort of a political statement?
I don't know. And that is actually a point that many people are making, that people are tired of these fatal shootings
Of unarmed black men.
right, to the point that now I want to make it right. I want to use this platform that I have, being a juror. I want to make it right. So, people are feeling the injustice of it all. And so they are basically circumventing the law and finding a way. That a lot of people are actually commenting about that, especially in this case. I read after the verdict came down that same night, I started reading through like some articles and comments in relation to it. And as I said, there were a lot of, I think he was from Harvard Law. this Harvard Law School professor, he expressed surprise. And his comment was something along the lines of the structure of Florida's law. Because of the structure of Florida's law, there is really not a way that he thought that this man would be found guilty, considering. So, I mean, a lot of people are actually making that comment. So I have a feeling that, Mr. McLaughlin's family is rejoicing now
And
because
it's going to be short lived.
that they feel like they've gotten justice for, their brother, their son. But I think that is going to be a short-lived victory. I think on appeal, this thing may be turned over. I hope I'm wrong. I pray that I'm wrong, because I do believe that this man should be punished for what he did, because he did not have to shoot this man.
No, and he initiated, and then there's even there's a video of this other dude, right? Saying that, if I could find it real quickly. Good Morning America had an interview with another dude that frequented that convenience store.
Mm-hmm.
And the other dude said, yeah, the dude's threatened me before too. He said he was gonna shoot me, called me a nigger, this, that, and the other. So there's like this video now.
See, but I bet you none of that was introduced into evidence. It probably could not be introduced into evidence because it's highly inflammatory and prejudicial. You know what's funny to me, though? That his defense lawyers, and of course, the lawyers have to vigorously defend their client. But the defense lawyer, and of course, because of the stand your ground law and the way that it's worded and the way that it operates, you have to continually say that he feared for his life. They said that he was blindsided, that he, because it came out of nowhere and he was nervous and he was afraid and he was this and he was that. But here's my thing. You walk up to somebody's car and you know that this woman wasn't driving because you were arguing with her from the passenger side.
No, she was in the driver's side.
I thought she was in the passenger side.
Because she had actually got out as dude was walking up. Dude was a passenger.
Oh, so the boyfriend was the passenger.
Yeah.
I don't know why I always thought that she was the passenger and he was driving. But anyway, but still, my theory still works, whether she was driving or she was a passenger. You walk up to this car and you start arguing with somebody, and didn't the girl say that her husband was in the store? And whatever.
I don't remember.
I'm trying to remember, because I think like she told him, but he had bravado backed up by the gun. And that's something that you said when we were talking about gun laws and restrictions, and how you were more afraid of someone carrying a concealed weapon than someone walking around with one in their hands. And like he was brave because he knew that he had this gun on his person.
And let me tell you that I believe I've said that before too. When I first got my concealed weapons permit, and I would carry around on my hip, I would carry around my gun. No one knew but me. And it does add a false sense of security and a false sense of
Bravery. It
can
instills you
yeah,
with
can no one do me? Yeah, I'm gonna walk around on MLK, and I don't care what city you in. You don't walk around on MLK.
you
But
feel like you're invincible. You feel like false sense of security, I guess you would call
hmm
it. That's what you say you experience because you know or you think if if anything pop off, I got this piece that's gonna get me out
and I
of
can
any
legally use it. Yep.
right. That can get me out of this and I can use it if I feel like I'm somebody an imminent threat of death
Yeah.
or great bodily harm. So
Man, I tell you, those be the ones too. It's like I remember going to a snowball stand, right? And ladies and gentlemen who are not of New Orleans, what would they be called elsewhere? Ices or
no, snowball is not like an icy.
we used
It's
to call
almost
them
like
something.
Rita's frozen ice, but better.
No, it's nothing like Rita's frozen ice because that's gelato.
No, they have like this no
What we called them something else because we had one at a stand at the mall.
snow cone.
I guess snow cone is basically crushed ice with sugar juice poured
It is
on it.
not sugar juice. Thank
That's
you very much.
sugar
No,
juice.
it
That's
is
it.
flavoring.
Sugar juice. So I rode up to a snowball stand. It's probably about 8 p.m. dark out. And I see this dude with a gun in his hand at the window, like just waving the gun around. And then he turns the gun towards himself and hands it to the person.
Ew.
So the whole time, like when I rolled up, I'm thinking he robbing the place or something. When in reality, his friend worked there and he was showing his friend his gun. So had I been anybody else and wanted to shoot somebody, as soon as I rolled up to that snowball stand, I could have got out of my car and put a bullet in his head or in his body.
Mm.
But yeah, man, people get these guns and they think that they are
Invincible.
yeah. Like, and I'm the man and I'm going to be the hero. Everyone has a hero complex.
Right. But see, I guess in that sense, if you're using your superpower for good, if you are actually trying to save someone, that's a different situation. But in this particular situation, you went out looking for trouble.
Every day. I'm sure he did that every day until he got what he wanted. Just
Right.
that one little.
And as you talked about earlier, the guy who said that this man had harassed him at this very same store before.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you that the owner of the store basically put him off of his property for harassing people in the parking lot before. So that's almost like the guy who had gotten who was found guilty of murdering that football player, the road rage incident.
Mm-hmm.
He had several other incidences
Yeah.
like this.
And I think he got manslaughter too, didn't he?
He did, but he's also appealing that verdict.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how that's gonna shake out. But what we're talking about, I think we've talked about this before.
I think his name was Joe Knight or Joe McKnight.
Joe Knight. Yeah, McKnight. Excuse me. So, former football player driving in New Orleans, going towards the West Bank of New Orleans and Jefferson Parish. We have this bridge called the Crescent City Connection. Well, I've apparently, from what the record shows, he cut someone off.
Yeah, Joe McKnight did.
And the man that he cut off, in a fit of road rage, followed him to an intersection.
Chased him down.
Right. And when they pulled up to a stop, Joe McKnight got out of his car and the guy who had chased him down shot him.
Mm-hmm. Now that's a all too common thing again I'm gonna say in the South. Me and P were just talking about this, right? Same thing happens in Charlotte. All these shootings on the roadways, like, and we're talking moving vehicles. We ain't even talking about stop and get out. There's been so many shootings here on I-10, on 610, from moving vehicles because of road rage. And same thing happens in Charlotte. And Charlotte suffers from the same problem that I feel New Orleans suffers from, which is not enforcing traffic laws. When you don't enforce traffic laws, you don't have careful drivers. So you have these people that are speeding, going 85 miles an hour, speed limit 60, and they're getting pissed off and they're weaving in and out of traffic. Back home, you'll get a reckless driving for that off top. Ask me how I know. I got a reckless driving.
But the thing is, and it's true, we need better enforcement of laws across the board, though. But in this particular instance, NOPD is understaffed. They really don't have a lot of officers in traffic control per se.
Let's think about it, though.
So
let's think about it. This is what I keep saying too. Here where I live in Jefferson Parish, I wish they would do this. Back home, we had
the cameras.
No, I don't believe in technology doing the work that a person should be doing, such as policing. But we have code enforcement. My uncle, retired firefighter, he worked in code enforcement. What they do is they have neighborhoods that they go to. This is 5 days a week, 9 to 5. You drive through these neighborhoods. You look at people's properties. Is your grass cut? Is there trash in your?
Yeah, we have code enforcement.
Yeah, they don't do shit, but they do. They do target in Jefferson Parish. They target the minority neighborhoods, but it's like even in my neighborhood, I see shit like, come on, man. But you get tickets, and it's pay them or you get a lien put on your property. Same with traffic stuff. It's like, okay, NOPD is understaffed right now. You can go hire right now 50 cops that are their sole purpose is traffic. It'll pay for itself because of all the tickets. I mean, we're talking about turning without using the signal. Down in the South, I can tell you, it is a sin to use your turn signal.
That is correct. I don't use, and you know why?
People won't let you fucking turn or get over.
They won't let you get over when they know. People literally speed up when they see this blinker.
Yeah.
Like you use your blinker to merge right.
Yeah.
They will speed up.
Yeah, because they're fucking stupid. It's like, how dare you get in front of me? But that's the mentality because these laws have not been enforced. Whereas, like, there was like, I want to say it was like a 9-year-old girl or 9-month-old girl that was shot on 610 maybe a year or two ago. Because same thing, road rage, a guy rolls down his window and just fires blindly into another vehicle. And it was either 9 years old or 9 months old. Either way, it's just as bad. Okay, so 9-month-old baby shot. It's like, man, come on. But look, let's wrap up with this. We talking about it on the break. Epstein. So it has been said that Epstein was murdered. They're still trying to make it out to be like this whole suicide thing. It was like, well, those fractures in the neck bones. I mean, most of the time you see it in homicides. But
no, they said most of the time, like his hyoid bone was fractured, and 99% of the time that you see that means that you were strangled,
right?
As opposed to you hung yourself. So that's why they had a bit of a delay in the coroner actually declaring the cause of death. But eventually the coroner said that it was death by not strangulation, suicide. So he hung himself is what the official record.
Because 1% of the time, them little whatever bone. See, what's crazy here. Now, my first thing was, I didn't know anything about no names and shit, right? That's all new to me. I said he paid somebody that works at the jail because the dude's a fucking billionaire, even though I'm sure all of his assets, I'm sure he has access to cash right now.
It's in trust. But
right.
Okay.
So he paid somebody to kill him because look, he tried to kill himself and didn't work. So you look at that prison guard, CO, whatever. What they make about 50 grand a year, maybe. Like, yo, dude, I'll give you $500,000 if you kill me and make it look like a suicide. Psh, I take that. What? You a child molester? I would have done it for free, but I mean, so that was my line of thinking is he paid someone to kill him because he wasn't able to kill himself. But then comes this whole new thing with the names. All these notable people have gone to his little child sex compound.
Yeah, on his private island.
Man, anybody with a private island's a sick motherfucker.
We're talking about heads of states and royalty. So, yeah, it was honestly the more information that was coming out, everything was looking sticky to me. It's like eventually the dude was going to die. And he had to die before he could talk.
Right.
You know?
But how do we know he hadn't already talked?
He hadn't. I'm more than sure if he would have started talking, he would have died sooner than this. So he may have been negotiating with
and then someone said, "Oh, look, hey, got some information about you, bruh."
You know, so yeah, because it's just too coincidental to me that he actually partied with Donald Trump. He partied with Bill Clinton. He partied with Prince Henry. You know, he partied with a whole lot of people.
And a whole lot of children.
And the whole time he was doing this, he was trafficking in underage girls. So,
man, I still don't get the fucking allure of that. Like,
it's a power trip. And you know, I've said that before. Think about it. Just not put yourself in their mind, because you never want to do that, because that is a seriously jacked up place to be. I'm more than sure. But that's exactly, you know, when you talk about rapists, they don't rape because of sex. It's not about sex to them. It's about power. So what's the most vulnerable?
Oh, Panera.
Oh,
that's our second sponsor.
Yeah, I'm selling that dope.
You think I live here, motherfucker? I sell dope. I don't sell hope. My nigga, I sell dope. You want to size me up? Better wear a scope.
Really?
Because you're going to see me on MLK and on TV.
Oh, Lord. Anyway, so as I was saying, it's about power. And the most vulnerable of us are children. So, and the
elderly.
Right. And those are two groups of people that you can manipulate quickly. And so, because it's like, you tell a child, don't tell anybody,
or I'll kill your family, or some dumb shit like that.
You know, you can easily manipulate. So they're predators. And once you get away with it once again, bravado, you know, you have this false sense of security. And so think about that. This dude had been doing this for like what, 20 years?
Who knows?
Because when did he get that charge in Florida? And they like swept it under the rug. That had to be like 2005, in the 2000s, like early. And so he's been doing this for a very long time, and he was never stopped. So think about that.
Man, the whole allure, like, I forget who I was talking to, but I look at 21-year-olds, 20-year-olds, right? I'm in my mid-30s and I'm looking, and yeah, sure, technically they're legal, but I'm like, that shit still, to me, it feels sick.
You skeevy?
Yeah, like 18, 19 years old? What the fuck? No. Like, but I know people like that too, who I know both sides of it actually.
30, like in their 30s dating 18-year-olds.
Yeah, actually, I do.
Mm-hmm.
I do know of somebody like that. And I know girls, well, when I was younger, I knew girls who were my age, 18, 19, who were dating 40-plus-year-old men. And it's like, I don't get the allure. That shit just seems creepy. If you're not within 10 years of my age, I think the older you get, the more different it gets. Like, okay, a 55-year-old and a 43-year-old, 12-year difference. They both had enough life experience to kind of, but that 12-year difference at 35 and a 23-year-old, keep them 23-year-olds the fuck away from me.
Well, let me tell you something about women and men.
Women mature faster.
That's correct. That's real. That is real.
No.
That is real. That is real. And especially in the black community. Let me tell you why. Because
you raising your brothers and sisters?
Most women, young women, yes, they are. They're single parent homes, latchkey kids. The oldest girl is normally the one that's taking care of everybody. So you do have to grow up faster.
Same with boys though, because do you know how many of my homies, like, and when I say my homies, we were like 12, 13 years old. It's like, yo, we get out of school, we were hanging around, and it's like, oh, I gotta go pick up my little brother from school.
Mm-hmm.
And then the little brother tagging along all day because we doing the same thing.
Right. But see, and so people who are thrust in those situations, there are not a lot of people, well, not a lot of people on the other side, but and your boy who had to do that, he matured faster than the dude who did not, because responsibility.
That nigga's doing life in jail right now.
Responsibility thrust upon you. And just because he's doing life in prison, his mistake is not him. Whatever he did to get him there, he still had a lot of responsibility at an early age, because he not only had to take care of himself, he had somebody else that he had to worry about.
Yeah, basically forced to take care of.
Right.
Yeah.
So you grew up, even though you wanted to still be a kid, he was still having his little brother tag along because he still wanted to hang with his boys. He still just couldn't be footloose and fancy free.
So at 13 years old, and being that he's looking after his little brother, that makes it okay for a 25-year-old to.
Well, no, because at 13, it's not. We're talking 18-year-olds. We were. That's what you were saying.
I'm sorry, but
we're not
18-year-olds, they still don't have enough life experience. I don't care what your experiences are.
Yet they can go and kill. They
can. But they don't have the life experience of someone 25 plus, 30 plus.
They have 25-year-olds who are like babies.
But I bet they still have more life experience.
Nah.
They've been around longer. So they have more experience.
It doesn't matter. Just you can be around. I know people who are older than me and have no life experience. They've been within 3-block radius their whole lives.
If I could, I would.
Why?
If I could, I would.
Why?
Let me tell you something funny here before we wrap it up. So this morning, right, I wake up. Now, this next week, I took off from work and I'm gonna work on some meat, right? Some meat. I'm gonna work on meat. But nah, so I wake up this morning and this was the most sleep I've gotten in I don't know how long. I slept for 9 hours. That is nuts.
Wait, why? What happened? What'd you do?
I don't know. I took my meds. I took my meds. Oh, I know what it was. I can't say, but I know what it was. So,
do I know what it was?
Probably. I texted you yesterday.
Oh, okay. All right.
So man, I'm like, shit, I better get some for it gone, cause man, homegirls, man. So I'm knocked out for 9 hours. I wake up, and as soon as I get up, I'm like, I'm going back to my old apartment complex, which is a gated community, mind you, and you need a code to get in. I don't have a code anymore, and I'm going to the gym there. I have a gym membership at a real gym. I said, nah, I'm going. And
were you dreaming about this?
No, that was just as soon as I woke up, I said, I'm going back to the old apartment complex and going to the gym there, because it's comfortable. Like I look at everything, like you said, they haven't left a 3-block radius. I would not if I wasn't forced to, right? Because I need everything the same. So I find myself going back to places like my mama's old house that she don't live at no more.
And
Just
that's
driving by.
because it's familiar to you.
Yeah.
But not everybody has your particular psychosis.
My set of skills.
No, right. Not everybody in the world is Daniel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not everybody has you are very change averse.
Right. But all I'm saying is, so these people that you speak about that have no life experience, that haven't left a 3-block radius, maybe it's by choice.
Nah, bruh. Not the people that I said, somebody that I know.
Mm-hmm.
It's not by choice, it's by circumstance. And so it's not that they don't want to leave or go anywhere. It's like they're unable to. So I would argue that I have more life experience than them. They may have been through some things, but I've been through a lot as well. And on top of that, I have the experience of having traveled internationally and of meeting people from different countries. And I also have the experience of actually meeting people from different states and different walks of life, just doing what I do. So I can argue that I have more life experience than this 56-year-old.
But at a certain point, though, I think it's a moot point at a certain point in life, though. So had you had these experiences at 18? Of course not.
I had some.
Everyone has some at 18. But wait, what happened? Man, look, that's my little cousins now. Be talking about my roaches on the mic. Man, yo, we used to name our roaches in the hood too.
Stupid.
But
it's a gnat, dude. It's not a roach.
Yeah, it's one of them damn. We had these fucking fruit
flies.
Yeah, some kind of shit.
Okay.
But at 18, yeah, everyone has some experience doing something, but still.
So fast forward at 25, I'd had international traveling experience.
Okay, I still haven't.
See, that's what I'm saying. So,
but I also have a set of life experiences
that I don't have.
Right, exactly.
Right. So you can't say because somebody is 23 and their lover is 43 that's
gross. I'm sorry, that's gross. Yo, I look at it like this. If I can drive a car legally and you weren't born yet, that's fucking nasty.
Nah, dude. But I'm saying that May-December relationships are a real thing, and sometimes they work out. I mean, there are a lot of them. Look, viewers and listeners in America and beyond, we like your feedback on this May-December thing. Any of you in May-December relationships?
May-December.
That's what they call them. Because May and December are so far apart. So
why wouldn't they call it? Oh, okay, because January. Okay. Yeah.
You know what? Anyway, I mean, are you in or have you ever been in a relationship like that? And if so, give us some feedback, because I honestly think that there is nothing wrong. And then sometimes there's even though there may be a physical relationship, there's also a mentee type relationship.
Yo, I was just listening to us. We have an episode that has not aired. I scrapped it because you were a little intoxicated.
Wait, which episode?
Yo, you were sounding crazy. So anyway, I mixed it.
Hold up.
I mixed it. It was when we recorded on the 4th of July, and you and Becky had got to drinking like hours before we started recording. And
wait, I don't even remember 4th of July.
Exactly. It was 4th of July last year, so 2018.
I don't remember 4th.
I do, because I'm just like sitting there like, what is going on here? So I never aired the episode, but then I went back and listened to it, and other than your little outburst, it was a pretty good episode.
Wait,
it was the one about sugar babies.
Oh, yeah. I remember that episode.
Yeah, well, you was like tripping for like 10 minutes straight, and I'm like,
who tripped? I was serious. Everything I said was real.
No, I need to play you yourself, because I'm listening. It made my head hurt, And at the time, my head was probably hurting. So I'm like, there's no way I can put this out here. This is embarrassing. But so what I think I'm going to do is I went ahead, I mixed it, and I'm going to cut that segment and just push it to the end, kind of like, end credits. Because, the listeners will turn off. They'll be like, nah, we can't do this. But that was, we went on the website and I registered for seekingarrangements.com.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot all about that shit. So I made an account trying to be a sugar baby. But reading through it, it was like, what is why do people have interest in being sugar babies? You can learn a lot from some of these older people because they can be like a mentor to you.
Right. And that's real.
You don't need to have some sort of sexual relationship or even boyfriend-girlfriend relationship to have a mentor.
No, you don't. And I'm not saying that that's the sole purpose, but you don't get with people, period, for one reason. There's always a spectrum.
Not for dudes. One reason. It's just the one that sticks.
That's nah, bro. There's always a bunch of reasons behind you. I mean, initially you may be attracted to somebody. I mean, we've had this discussion before. You may be initially attracted to somebody because of the way they look. But then once you get to know them and then you decide to have a relationship with them, you do that for reasons. It's not just one reason. So
it's the one you can't get rid of. That's all it is.
There are multiple reasons. That's just, the person that I'm with, I'm not with him for one reason.
His money.
That's what y'all all think.
His money.
But there are a multitude of reasons that I'm with him.
His credit, money, credit. His willingness to spend it on you.
It all revolves about, that's something else that Dan actually has a skewed vision of or version of. He actually thinks that my relationship revolves around money.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't.
It does.
Does not at all.
I can, right now, on your person, right?
Mm-hmm. What the hell? Gurgle.
Right now, on your person, what have you paid for with your money?
These shoes.
That's it? Just the shoes?
I think what I got on. My underwear.
That don't count.
Yes, it does. You said on my person. Okay.
So your shoes and your drawers is what you pay for with your money. Ladies and gentlemen, she's wearing an Apple Watch with that's the new joint with the GPS and the cellular data, and got some kind of fancy gold band, and I bet you it's real gold. The Beats, the Mickey Mouse limited edition Beats by Dre headphones. I don't know what to call that shirt. There's some kind of shirt, got some kind of earrings on. What else
and
you got?
And a skirt.
And look at that. How did you only pay for 10% of what you have on your person?
How is that 10%?
I don't know. It sounds good.
I'm saying, you know how much these shoes cost?
I don't know, and I don't care. What, $50?
You know what I'm saying? These shoes cost
$50.
I think
if you spend more than $50 on a pair of shoes, you dumb.
These shoes are Cole Haans, man, with Nike Air technology.
That's whatever. You pay for 10% of what you like. Me, I pay for 100% of what I have on.
Yeah, whatever.
So that's all I'm saying. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Black Law and Legal Lies. Thank you for tuning in week in and week out with us. We really appreciate you.
We do.
And try to leave us reviews if you can. I don't know if Apple's fixed that or not.
Apple hates us.
Still waiting on our Spotify exclusive. And again, shout out to Suja for being our unofficial sponsors of this episode with their nasty ass shit, man.
And now, honestly, there are people who may enjoy this, but I find that the finish is very astringent. I don't know what it might be the lemon juice, maybe.
I think it's a celery juice. I don't know. That shit's just disgusting. So anyway, Suja, if you want to pay us some money for reviewing your product, nasty ass shit. I am Dan. You can catch me on Twitter and IG at I am Dan on Drugs. You can also catch the show across all social media platforms at Black Law Podcast.
And I'm Just Dan, and you can follow me on Twitter at I Tell Legal Lies.
Peace.
Later.